Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It is I, lcadilac, and I am here today, getting close to the mic, as close as I can, to talk to you about the Young Thug RICO trial. Now, there's no trial today, and there's no trial tomorrow, which is heavy ironic when you think about how everyone in the courtroom has been talking about the need for getting this trial to move along a little faster. So, especially when last week they only worked half days the whole week. But, you know, I'm just here for the irony, really. For those of you who are here for the first time, I'm lcadilac. I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I do not do criminal defense, but I do have an interest in the law, and I do have experience in the courtroom. So, also, I've just been obsessively following this case. And today, since there's no court, I figured we could get together and talk about why I've been obsessively following this case, and even what is this stupid case about. And I call it a stupid case because it is stupid. So we're going to start with Georgia's RICO law. And then we'll move into the indictment itself. Then we're going to talk about the First Amendment, and we're going to talk about double jeopardy, because even though in the beginning of this case I really found my interest because of the First Amendment right issues, there are a bunch of double jeopardy issues that have now popped up as we go on in the case. So I find that to be interesting, and I want to discuss with you. Hi, K-Way. I know, what a week. So tomorrow I'm going to recap the week, because I recap the week every Friday morning, and I want to stay consistent with that. But since there was no court today, I figured why not hop on and actually talk about, like, what is RICO and what is the indictment and so on and so forth. Oh, y'all, it is so hot right now. I'm sorry, it's so hot. I know you hate the sounds of the fans, but my goodness, I am warm. Okay, so first I want to start with what is RICO. So this is the Georgia Code Crime and Offenses, Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations, okay? It shall be unlawful for any person, through a pattern of racketeering activity or proceeds derived therefrom, to acquire or maintain directly or indirectly any interest in or control of any enterprise, real property, or personal property of any nature, including money. I think that's interesting how they said including money, because they wanted to make sure you weren't going to argue that money isn't property. The most interesting thing is because our Supreme Court has said that money is speech. I would argue that speech is not property and could not be property, and therefore money could not be included. But I'm assuming they know some smartasses like me, and that is why they added including money. B, it shall be unlawful for any person employed or by or associated with any enterprise to conduct in or participate in, directly or indirectly, such enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. It shall be unlawful for any person to conspire or endeavor to violate any of the provisions of subsection A or B. Okay, where's the rest of the code? Where does it define what racketeering is? Civil forfeiture proceeding. I don't know if any of you have heard of those, but they are bullshit. Good morning. I am Tavonda. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Oh, here we go. Here's the definition of racketeering activity. Oh, shit. Damn. I wish I could read Roman numerals so I could tell you how many that is. That's a lot. I was a really good student, but I feel like there were some things I just didn't see a use for in my future, and I feel like Roman numerals was one of those. And if we're quite honest, really the only time I ever even need to know what a Roman numeral means is as it pertains to the Super Bowl. So if my kids were struggling with Roman numerals in school, I would tell them not to waste their time. Don't cry about Roman numerals, y'all. It seems like Jeffrey's defense team are working on an appeal simultaneously. Oh, as they should be. And we can talk about in a minute what is well, we'll talk about it right now. There are different types of appeals. There's a type of appeal, which is the appeal that we know of, right? That's my case is closed, I don't like the result, there's error on the record, and I want to appeal it. Okay. There is also a type of appeal called an interlocutory appeal. And don't ask me how to spell that. Interlocutory. Actually, I don't even know that I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's what it is. It's an interlocutory appeal. What that means is in the course of this trial, the judge has made a ruling that makes it appealable. So for instance, when Miss Love opened this trial and attempted to put the burden on the defense, that is that the judge could have declared a mistrial right then and there, and in fact should have. They should be writing an interlocutory appeal about that one aspect right there, and God knows how many other aspects could be included in this interlocutory appeal, because it's been a lot of error on this record. So, all right, let's go back to racketeering activity. Means to commit, to attempt to commit, or to solicit, coerce, or intimidate another person to commit any crime which is chargeable by indictment under the laws of the state involving. Okay, so I'm going to break that down. Hold on. It's a lot of words. This means if you try to break any of these laws, if you ask someone to break the laws for you, if you do break the law, you pay someone to break the law for you, you intimidate someone to break the law for you. And any of these crime which is chargeable by indictment under the laws of the state. Well, in Texas, and I'm going to assume this is true in Georgia, an indictment is used when there's a felony. I don't remember the word when it's a misdemeanor, but it's not indictment. So presumably this is referring to felony laws and provisions, criminal laws and provisions that are felonies. Okay, so the first, unlawful distillation, manufacture, and transport of alcoholic beverages. That is like the most 1920 shit I've ever read. Why is that number one? Is there like a big illegal alcohol thing going on in Georgia? Is there a prohibition in Georgia? I don't understand that one. Records and reports of currency transactions in violation of 11. I don't have that in front of me. The Georgia Uniform Securities Acts. Okay, that securities has to do with selling stocks and investments, that kind of thing. Okay. Assault and battery, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and related offenses. Okay. This is a place where I start to lose faith in RICO. Prostitution, keeping a place of prostitution, pimping, and pandering. I don't understand how being a hooker is racketeering. To me, when I read this, that is Georgia just throwing. I like to tell people when I sue, I'm going to throw the spaghetti at the wall, right? So I'm going to put in everything I think we might be able to sue for. I think that's what Georgia did here. Like, let's add prostitution. Burglary, smash and grab burglary. Wow, that's interesting that they define them separately. Arson and explosives, bombs, explosives, and chemical and biological weapons. Theft, robbery, criminal reproduction, and sale of recorded material. Oh, wow. So it's a RICO charge to illegally download music and then sell it. That's so interesting. The Georgia Residential Mortgage Fraud Act. Now, I can guarantee you there are hundreds of people in Georgia who would fall under these RICO charges with the Residential Mortgage Fraud Act that will never, ever be prosecuted under RICO. I guarantee you that. I'm guessing, now I haven't read any of that, but I'm guessing that I have a couple lawsuits right now where someone has violated that law. That's what I'm guessing. I haven't seen a RICO in this trial. Defense played audio where the 2 alleged YSL members want a fundraiser. Okay, I am Tavonda. I am going to discuss that tomorrow because I am going to do the recap of the week tomorrow. But I agree with you. So far, every reference we've heard or I've heard to Young Thug has to do with trying to get Young Thug to give them money or using him as like a center of, you know that guy Young Thug? Oh, well, it was his cousin in the car. Oh, you know that guy Young Thug? It's his dad, right? They use him as kind of a way to orient you of who people are. And that makes perfect sense because he's famous. And it makes perfect sense to have been a friend of his from childhood and to think of him as your rich, famous friend when you're in trouble as maybe he could do a fundraiser for me. Like, hello. That's why it sucks to get rich. Wham for the rich. I understand. We're not going to cry for them. But it's because people come and they think you could do fundraisers. You're going to help them get out of trouble and all those things. Like, that's all I have seen evidence of. So we'll get deeply into that tomorrow. K-Way, I feel like the judge has made able to be appealed. Or, oh, yeah. There's so many appealable errors so far. It's crazy. The judge is horrible. I've never seen a case where the attorneys disrespect the judge as much as they do. Tavonda, come on down to Dallas, girl. We'll spend one day in court. You'll be like, oh, so this is actually everyday shit. YSL Steele yelled at him and questioned his authority and challenged his ruling and called him biased. He is biased. So I know this is a surprise, but like it's YSL Steele's job to do that. The judge is making these rulings, and Jeffrey Williams' life is in the judge's hands. So he does need to press the judge. He does need to question bad rulings, which there have been tons. And he does need to preserve the record. You preserve the error on the record for appeal. Georgia locked DJ Drama up for selling his own music back in 2008. I am not surprised. I hear his name a lot, but not that he did the crimes. Exactly. We keep hearing Thug's name, but we don't hear anything about him being there. And in fact, we heard his whole tour schedule, which sounded incredibly rigorous. Like, when it was read, I got tired just hearing it. So I don't really know where in this crazy rigorous tour schedule you're fitting in, you know, being the leader of a street gang. But if you are, more power to you. Memphis, good morning. Denton, Texas here with you. Welcome, my fellow Texan. I actually live in Denton County now. I'm not going to lie, I got sick of Dallas County. Dallas County, a lot of Dallas County looks a lot, the practice of law looks a lot like these courtrooms. This courtroom we're watching here in Fulton County, and it bugs me. So thank you everyone that has joined, that is here this morning. Good morning. If you're new here, I'm Lauren Cadillac. I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas, and I just like to watch cases and trials, so I've been watching this one. And today we're talking about how we got here and the background, and tomorrow morning I'll go live and we'll talk about what happened this week. Although it wasn't much because they only worked 3 days. And the best drama was the last 25 minutes of yesterday, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. And I love drama, y'all. I love drama. Someone's here from Detroit. That is so exciting. Oh my goodness. Hi. I'm so excited. Okay, they have a video showing him at tour dates. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So let's get back to these RICO charges. Hey, if you're in Texas, you're the best. So welcome. Sorry everyone that's not in Texas. I'm sorry you can't be here. All right, back to these RICO charges. The Residential Mortgage Act, forgery in any degree. That's interesting. You know, maybe RICO wouldn't be so bad because in my practice, I see people forging deeds and shit like that all the time. So maybe they could actually like put them in jail if we had something like this. But I don't like the RICO charges because it's a catch-all. It's like, oh, well, if we couldn't actually prosecute you for the actual crime because we didn't have enough evidence, like in Thug's case, then we have this catch-all of RICO and we'll come after you under that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't think that the government should treat us that way. Okay. Illegal use of financial transaction cards. I bet that's that gift card scam. Use of article with altered identification mark. The Georgia Computer System Protection Act, identity fraud, bribery, false statements or writing false statements against public officers. That's ghetto. I don't like that. Impersonating a public officer, attempting murder, or threatening a witness in official proceedings. Why does that need to be a RICO charge? That's a charge of its own. It's a standalone charge. I don't like this. Every time I sit and watch this trial, I am so happy to be a Texan. I'm so proud that we don't have this RICO bullshit. And I'm just glad that I'm not a taxpayer in Fulton County. If I'm honest, I would be lit. I would be absolutely lit if I was a taxpayer in Fulton County. Embracery? What is embracery? We're going to look up what embracery is. Y'all, when I see a word I don't know, I just look it up, and that's how I know more words. Attempt to influence a judge or jury by corrupt means. Oh, okay. Influencing witnesses, tampering with evidence, intimidating on injury or of grand or trial juror, terroristic threats, Firearm Weapons Act, commercial gambling, distributing of obscene materials, Georgia Controlled Substance Act, Dangerous Drug Act, marijuana. What? Payday loans? Okay, now we talking. Now that's a fucking racket right there, y'all. So I mean, talk about some shady usury shit. Ugh. That deserves to be on a RICO law. Insurance fraud, certain felonies involving certificate of title, okay, security, or liens. Excellent. That's what I do. I do a lot of real estate, so that's why I'm interested in that. Removal of falsification, possession of motor vehicle parts, when you're stealing parts, and the abuse of elders. Shall also mean any act or threat involving murder, blah, 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 which violate the United States. So basically, if you break any law, we can get you on RICO. I just don't like that. Like, we already have the law. Go prove they broke the actual law, not some BS catch-all crap. It's ridiculous. We do have federal RICO, you're right. And I don't like that either. I think RICO is kind of I think it's for wussies, if I'm honest. Yeah. Okay. Let's move into the indictment. So we read the RICO law, all right, and now we're going to read the indictment. And I said earlier in this live, an indictment is used when there's a felony. What happens is the prosecution puts together an indictment package, and they go before the grand jury, and they present to the grand jury evidence and whatnot, and the grand jury then determines whether or not the person should be indicted. So if they decide not to indict the person, it's called a no bill. And if they do indict the person, then we move forward to court. We move forward to where we are here. So let's look at this indictment. Okay. State of Georgia versus, look how many names it is. Look at that. 28 names. Okay. Conspiracy to violate the racketeer organization. So not only do we have this ghetto dumb catch-all law of RICO, we can now also have a law that says, oh, well, you're in a conspiracy to violate RICO. What? I don't like that. Murder, armed robbery. I do like that they at least put the counts by each person's name. So we've got murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, again. Possession of firearm during commission of a felony, theft by receiving stolen property, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a firearm, participation in criminal street gang activity, theft by receiving stolen property, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, participation in a criminal street gang, blah, 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 violation of controlled substance, possession of firearm, armed robbery, hijacking, theft by taking, attempted murder twice. I don't understand why they're so, I guess they're repeating over and over to show that it's done again. All right, what I want to look at, though, while we're on this page, I want to find our boy, DK, right here, Walter Murphy, count 1. Conspiracy to violate, racketeering, influence, and corrupt. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead to double jeopardy, and then we'll go to First Amendment, okay? What really upset me is I learned that Walter Murphy, aka DK, he is the guy who testified last week mainly. He had just been out of prison after serving 7 years' time for the crime they're speaking about in this trial. So, if you recall, they're talking about this kid who, they're at a Citgo gas station, he gets his skull blown off. Not his brain, just his skull is blown off. But I am 100% sure there's brain damage. The poor guy had an accident on the stand. Like, there's no way you get your skull blown off and not have brain damage, period. I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. So, DK went to prison on street gang and felony murder. I think those were the 2 charges. There may have been more. And here, even though he had served 100% of his time, or whatever percent, he served his time and was released for that crime, they get him for conspiracy to violate RICO. He gets on this indictment 3 months after leaving prison for this conspiracy to violate RICO. That's why I don't like RICO. This shit is unconstitutional. This is double jeopardy. In Texas, in civil law, if you have an issue with someone, you have to plead it. And you have to have all of the causes of action in that pleading. And if you go to a trial and you settle that case, you can't 2 weeks later be like, oh yeah, this cause of action applies too, and then go sue again. That's not allowed. That's what just happened here. That is what this exact indictment says. It says, Walter Murphy, we got you on this crime, you went and you served your time, but guess what? We figured out there's another crime we could attach to it, and we're coming back for you. And that is bullshit. Our founding fathers did not die for that kind of shit to happen. I'm sorry, it really pisses me off. I mean, it really pisses me off. When I heard about this, I was lit. And now seeing this and what he's actually indicted on, it just is sick. It's disgusting. You, the state, don't have a case. And so you're just, at this point, this is harassment. This is harassment. Okay, let me get back to these comments. Thank you guys so much for participating with me this morning. This is so fun. Okay, so most of them did end up taking a plea of guilty. Walter Murphy being a perfect example. He had just gotten out of prison. He had a new baby at home. He had a baby that he barely knew because that baby came when he went to prison. And he did not want to serve any more time for this crime he had already served time for. So he took a plea. Now his difference is his lawyer is the mentee of Fannie Willis. So his plea deal is way better than Frontavious Stevens, aka Tick. and he got a better plea deal. And I wonder if that's because of this goddamn double jeopardy, pardon my language. It just pisses me off. I'm wondering if this double jeopardy is why the prosecution, they know it's double jeopardy, so maybe in their plea with him, they were more willing to be flexible because they knew they're breaking the law. They're breaking the law when they do this. They're breaking the law. But you want to talk about RICO, the government, they don't care. Let me calm down. It makes me so upset. Okay. DK was part of the flying car, which was an overt act. You're right. But I'm pretty sure that was resolved. That was adjudicated. The people in the flying car were all put into prison. The strangest part is the RICO. They give the ones that actually did serious crime plea deals. Yes. Yes. There's these double jeopardy issues. And I don't actually think that's strange. I don't think it's strange. I think it's by design. I think the government did this by design. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Lauren Cadillac, and I am not pro-government. So if you want the, oh, I love the government, I love the prosecution, I love the police, change channels right now, because I'm not your girl. Okay? I'm going to be the opposite of that. I'm always going to question the government. I feel it is my job and my duty as an American, and it is yours too. Do I like our president? No, I don't like any president we have because I'm an American and it's my job to not like the president. Thank you. All right. DK said the strand that he thought was double jeopardy. He did say that on his stand. And so that's why I started inquiring. I was like, what is the actual deal here? And DK was right. DK's lawyer is Fanny's protege. Yes. Oh, he's DK's family. Interesting. I thought he was just Jiggy. I thought DK's lawyer was family in the sense of, you know, like your aunt so-and-so or your cousin so-and-so who's just someone who's really close to you that you grew up with. But maybe they are family. Fannie Willis and the entire DA's office is a mess. It's a mess. I know that Fannie ran on a, you know, an anti-gang platform. She's like, I'm going to cut these gangs. And so it is my theory that how we get to Jeffrey Williams being indicted is that, okay, you're saying, I am going to fight these gangs. I am going to, you know, put a halt to this shit. Well, what do you do to do that? You go for a famous person that is well known, and you go and you try to take them down, because that sends a message to other gangs. But I think the government thinks that Young Thug is some big kingpin, and so far I have seen absolutely no evidence to prove that. I have seen nothing that proves that. Let me go back to the indictment real quick. Jeffrey Williams is 1 in 56, so let's go down to 56. Participation in criminal street gang activity. Let's look at this year, 2022. Now, we have seen evidence, there's no doubt we've seen evidence that Jeffrey Williams is hanging out in the years 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, maybe. Jeffrey Williams is hanging out with people who are in street gangs. It's questionable at this point based off evidence and testimony. I think maybe his dad was part of Rock, raised on Cleveland. I don't know, I could be wrong. But that's the vibe I'm getting from the testimony. Okay. So he's raised around that. He's doing dumb shit. He's in these videos. We've seen several of the videos. We saw a video yesterday, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow, not today. But there's lots of videos of him, you know, participating with these other people who are allegedly in street gangs. Here's my issue. This indictment is signed May 9th, 2022. We are talking about stuff he did in 2012. 2013. Where's the statute of limitations? The reason in this country we have double jeopardy laws and we have statute of limitations is so that you yourself as a citizen do not A, pay your time for the crime and then have to worry about being charged for that same crime again, and B, you don't have to go worry about people coming after you. You know, okay, if we had a contract together, when the contract ends, I know it's 4 years that we're available to sue. But once I hit that 4 years, we're clear. There's a purpose for this. We are American. This is un-American. This is un-American. Period. This is un-American. It makes me so damn mad. Yes, Fanny's office is RICO. Jesus. A dad and his sibling participated in some stuff. Yeah, totally. YSL Mondo is going to blow up this whole case. Look, K-Way, I don't know that YSL Mondo is going to even testify. The fact is, YSL Mondo is an alleged and so-called founder who had Fannie Willis as his defense attorney at least once, and allegedly had a love affair with her as well. And isn't it interesting that his name's nowhere on the indictment? I don't believe in coincidence, y'all. Do you believe in coincidence? I do not. I do not believe in coincidence at all. Okay. Here we go. Thank you for joining. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. I'm glad you're here. Come be part of this conversation, please. We've started today talking about how we got here. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about this week at the trial. Okay? So, there's no trial right now. We might as well chit-chat about the actual law and the actual things we're here for. Okay. They say YSL Woody is testifying. He's on the defense witness list. That's fine. But the testimony of every YSL member thus far has been very vague, and none of the testimony puts Thug at any of these incidents. None. I feel like these last remaining defendants, I think there's only 6 left in the courtroom. Now, there are several who were parsed out, and they are having their own trial separately of these others. I don't know how many of them there are. And then there's at least 20 that took pleas. So I believe that the 6 remaining men are innocent. They're there. You're taking it to court. When you know you effed up, a plea is good. A plea is fine. Like, even though we have this issue for DK with the double jeopardy, he knows he fucked up, right? He knows that he knows that he is not he knows he was part of this incident, and he knows he has some responsibility in that. So he is able to take the plea. From every piece of evidence we've heard so far, Thug actually has nothing to do with this, except that he was born into it and raised around it and has some old friends from the old day. Okay? So the friends are talking about, let's call him to get us to raise money in a fundraiser for us. They're talking about, he's the cousin of Young Thug. Oh, he's the this of Young Thug. They're not. The man is not committing crimes. He's on tour. He's on tour. Maybe he did some dumb shit in 2012, but guess what, y'all? It's 2024. It's too late. Too late. Okay. I don't know. So, Sweet Lady Sugar, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone who's joining us. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you subscribe. I do a recap of the week every Friday morning. Today, there's no trial, so I thought we'd just hop on and chit-chat with each other and talk about how we got here. I'm figuring out why they say Thug is the leader. What makes him the call guy? I agree. So far, we have seen 0 evidence to make Thug the call guy. Maybe they think that Thug told Shannon Stillwell to go shoot up the Lil Wayne bus, but from the evidence, from what I can hear, Shannon Stillwell was trying to be an artist, and he was trying to kind of get into the group, and I'm thinking he took it upon himself. He knew that Thug and Lil Wayne had beef, and maybe he didn't know that beef is actually like fake way to sell records, and went and did that. I just don't think Thug is kicking these people off a tour. If they're acting up on the tour, he's kicking them off. DK said he stole from someone and Thug paid the lady, and then he sent DK home. I'm not hearing a kingpin at all. I'm not even seeing it. And he wasn't there. It's so crazy. There's so much I know, can't wait to say. And I'm Shavonda. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Miss Love and stuff. Okay, right now we're going to stick with the law. We're going to stick it with the boring stuff that got us here. Okay. All right, so here's the thing. I am not, I know this is going to come as a huge surprise to you, a middle-aged white lady, doesn't really listen to much hip-hop. Shocker, I know. So my son definitely does. Also shocker, right? But I did know like one Young Thug song. I thought and think still to today, I know this is going to be controversial and you guys are probably going to cancel me for this, but I think Thug and Future sound basically the same. One has a deeper voice than the other. That's it. Like, I can't audibly tell the difference between the two. Now, I have friends who are like, oh, I can't believe you would even say such a thing. Okay, that's fine. But I can't tell. So I'm not like the biggest, like, I'm not into this because of the hip hop, right? What I am, though, is a huge proponent of the Constitution of the United States of America. And the very first amendment of that beautiful document says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Okay. Over time, there have been cases that come up, and they go and they work their way up through the Supreme Court of the United States. And over again, art and the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, the freedom of press gives you a freedom of expression, have been upheld. Art is art, and it's super important in the United States. Now, I was reading up on this before I came in today. There are, of course, instances when, you know, speech is not allowed. There's, of course, instances when art wasn't allowed. So one example, you cannot go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire. You are not allowed to do that. That is prohibited. Yes, you have a right to free speech. No, you do not have a right to invoke panic amongst a large group of people, okay? Another example, I saw some young man had painted a scene where he depicted police as animals, and Congress had that hanging on their walls, and some of Congress said take it down, and then they said no, that's a violation of free speech, and the Supreme Court said no, it's not. You know, the Congress can decorate however they want. Okay, fine. Another important thing I really want to make sure I emphasize is the Constitution only applies to the government. Private entities and private citizens, you don't have free speech in my home. You don't have, you know, a lot of parents don't allow the freedom of religion in their home, right? You know, you go to the church your parents take you to. So, like, private institutions are not subject to the rules of the Constitution necessarily. So, I got into this case because I was really interested in the use of lyrics as a way to prove a crime. I know it's happened again and again. I know there are many people who have served time because of some lyrics in a song, and many of them are actually quite innocent. I know this, but I find it interesting that, and we'll see this evidence when the defense presents their case. Right now, we're deep in the throes of the prosecution's bullshit, okay? So eventually, the defense will put on their case, and in their case, they're going to bring in experts to talk about how hip-hop is the only form of art that is prosecuted in the United States. And I believe that 100%. I've never heard of a country singer going to jail because of something they sang about. I'll give you a great example. Guns N' Roses, who I love from my childhood, love them. They have a song, and I'm not going to sing because I can't, but it basically goes like this. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I loved her so much, but she drove me nuts. She was driving me insane. Okay. Well, if you were Young Thug and you had those lyrics, that would be considered a confession, right? But you're Axl Rose, and it's considered art. That song is actually about Axl Rose's dog. is a really mean way to talk about putting down your dog. It's not nice. But the point is, rock stars are not being prosecuted for lyrics. You know, like rock musicians who write these lyrics are not being prosecuted for. Also, I don't know, half the time my understanding is these people don't even write their own lyrics. And so that's another issue, like who wrote these lyrics? Now, this is what I believe happened. Now that we've watched 69 days of this ridiculous, just absolute shit show, I think Thug was receiving information from his friends on the streets and then putting that into music. Sounds logical, right? You hear a story, oh, Tick did this, oh, okay, well, I'll put that into a song. Your name is Young Thug. Like, you have to sound hard. Your music, you got to sound hard. It's not like he could be like singing, you know, love ballads. So he needs to talk about the streets in order to continue to sell his music, the genre of music he sells. I don't think any of these songs were confessions from Thug. I think all of these songs are just stories about things that are happening at home. So I came to this case, I started following this case, started becoming obsessed with this case because of the First Amendment issues. Then we started expanding as we learned more. There are now these double jeopardy issues, which also very much interest me. So let me come back to our comments here. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. I'm having so much fun. I'm so excited. I'm glad you're all here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and feed the algorithm gods. Okay. When Mr. Montgomery got his skull torn off, Thug wasn't with him. That is correct. Thug was nowhere near them. DK told us when that incident happened, DK had been high for 5 days and not slept. DK said that several of the other dudes had been high for multiple days and not slept. Thug had nothing to do with that. This is a bunch of junkies doing weird junkie shit. Okay? So yeah. The state wasn't prepared for real lawyers. The judge is having to coach the state. It is, oh my God, who is this? Dirty Birds Barbecue. Thank you for joining. If you're in Dallas, I love barbecue. Hit up a girl, okay? If you're not in Dallas, tell me where you are so if I visit, I can come eat barbecue. The state, I've said this several times in several different videos, and I don't feel bad about saying this at all. The state, their performance in this case is a great example of you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say about that. They have no idea what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're lying and manipulating so they can win their case. I got to tell you, in my practice, typically, the other lawyers I go up against are like normal human beings like me, right? Most of us want to just resolve the problems our clients are faced with, okay? Sometimes you get an exceptional guy who's willing to lie and make excuses and play dirty games. And I gotta tell you, when you face those kind of people, it sucks. It is no fun. When you break this down, lawyering is a competition. When you're in a courtroom, it's competition. It's me versus them. Well, whoa, hold on, two hands. Me versus them, right? And I want to win. They want to win. We're very competitive. You don't go to law school unless you're competitive. So you want to win, period. I want to win based off facts, evidence, and my skill set. Dirty, slimy, scummy people want to win based off anything. That takes all the fun out of it. All the fun is removed from the game. All the joy is sucked out of it when you're a lying sack of shit. It's no fun. We don't actually get to do what we're supposed to do. And I don't like that. Now, I play Candy Crush Saga. I rarely use the little enhancers because I like to win based off my own mind and my own skill set. That is not the case here with this prosecution. This prosecution just wants to win. They don't give a shit how they get there. And that's disgusting. But it's happening every day in courtrooms across this entire country. Okay? The entire country. Courtrooms everywhere. Okay, what's crazy, Pee Wee Roscoe conviction for shooting the bus was overturned because the judge interfered with his case. That is crazy. By the way, I had been searching for decades for my rap name. What will my rap name be? What would it be? But because of this case and a Mr. O.G. Bentley, I've decided that my rap name should be OG Cadillac. All right, so y'all can call me OG, call me Attorney Cadillac, but that's my new nickname. I've had 3 people call me that now, and I'm very proud. 3 whole humans. All right, that's my hip-hop name, okay? When I release my first album, it's going to be under the name OG Cadillac, and I promise I won't sing. I promise you I won't sing. Okay. They are using the lyrics against him, and it's crazy. Don't get me started on the time that Miss Love read the fucking lyrics into the record. Read lyrics that are not even part of the record into the record, y'all. It's crazy. And she knows better. She knows she's not allowed to do that shit. But that goes back to the lying and cheating, right? And just, I'm gonna win no matter what. Okay. During the trial, there was new case law against the use of the lyrics. YSL Steel put a motion in, and YFN Glanville, oh my God. Who is this? Jiggy? I've been calling him YSL Steel and YSL Shart and YSL Adams, and I love that YFN Glanville. I'm gonna call her YFN Love. Everyone gets a rap name, period, okay? I love it, Jiggy. So YFN Glanville, he did, there was some new case law that came from the Supreme Court. I talked about that a few weeks ago. I am Devonda. This is where race comes into play, and I hate that. I agree, and I too hate it. I think it's disgusting, and it really pisses me off. Tavonda will talk about the phone call tomorrow. K-Way, I don't know what Tick said on the stand. He had an interview where he admits some stuff is not him, but homeboys are people he knows. Yes. When he's away, his old friends are keeping them informed. Duh. You know, look, these old friends are so excited to have someone that they know that is like rich and famous. They're going to constantly keep him in the loop. They're going to try to stay close to him. That's what happens when you get rich and famous, right? People want your stuff. So they're going to be feeding him information and so on and so forth. And then he's going to write songs about it. Hello? I've said it from the start of the trial. The state overestimated their terribly weak while underestimating the jury and defense team. I agree. Okay, Dirty Birds, I'm coming to Eastern North Carolina. I am. I'm coming. My son actually is talking about moving to North Carolina after he goes to law school. He's about to be a junior in college, so he's going to hit law school, and then he's talking about North Carolina. So I should be there soon, hopefully, and I can't wait. When I come in, I'm going to be like, hey, it's me, OG Cadillac, and I hope you hook me up with some great barbecue. This trial would be vastly different in front of a female judge as opposed to YFN Glanville. I think you're correct. No, I know you're correct. Oh, also, I don't mean to speculate, but I think I figured out why we have to take so many breaks. I think Glanville's got some male things going on. You know, as you grow older, men, your prostate and those kind of things can cause you to kind of need to go to the restroom a little more often than, you know, you want. Go get that checked. Get that checked. YFN Glanville is like maybe a good example of that. But yesterday, like, he needed to pee. Like, Miss Love was like, well, can I tell you this? He's like, no, I'm going on my break. Like, that's exactly how I feel when I gotta go too, you guys. Like, it's not even fair. Okay, so I think it would be vastly different if it was a woman. I know it would be. I know going in front of women judges is different than going in front of men judges. I also have been saying again and again, this is speculation, But YFN Glanville's either wife or lover had started watching this and asked him, why are you treating Miss Love that way? And then he started treating her differently. I am sure that came from a woman. I am sure of it. These are Fanny's friends that she's doing a favor to further their career. Nathan wasn't equipped for a RICO either, and she gave him the job. I agree. I believe that Fanny and Miss Love are probably quite friendly. They probably chit-chat in each other's office when they pass in the hall. I'm sure they have gone to lunch together. These are, I'm speculating, I'm guessing. But I'm guessing that is why Miss Love got assigned to this case, because clearly she's not a very talented lawyer. And, you know, she's so annoying. NRS Jenny, yes, you caught alive. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Jiggy, I am not Lil Caddy, but I like that. I'm going to call my son Lil Caddy. I'm OG Cadillac, okay? That it's set in stone. OG Cadillac coming to you right now. Mistrial, thank you for calling me a G. I love that. Thank you. Tick said that he was jealous of Thug for rapping, and as he got rich... Thank you, K-Way. That's exactly what I've been trying to express. Being wealthy and successful is awesome, but it is so difficult if you come from a place where other people are not that wealthy or successful. Okay? Not just difficult in that you have to like learn how wealthier, successful people operate and then start to operate in that area. You know, operate that way and make those kind of moves. But you're going to have all the people from way back when knocking on your door constantly. I mean, constantly. I'm not even that successful, and sometimes I have like siblings pop up. You know, it's crazy. I always wanted to win the lottery, but at the same time, I don't want to win the lottery because, like, then I'm going to have all these cousins I never heard of. You know, it's like, this is exactly what happens. And I really think in this case, we have Thug being prosecuted for marketing. He marketed well, and now here you are in trial. And all these friends, every time they dropped his name, is because it's the only name they could drop. It's the only freaking person they knew that was rich and famous. Okay. Beyonce said her songs are inspired by people who went through the situation, not her necessarily. Exactly. This is art, y'all. Have you ever heard of this artist? His name is Goya. I probably said that wrong. He's a Spanish artist. G-O-Y-A. I'm going to try to look him up while we're talking. This guy wrote, he didn't write. He's a painter. Francisco Goya. The dude painted tons and tons and tons of scenes of wars. Every time we talk about this case, I think of Goya because I have seen this. Let's get this view. Let's see if we can get this larger. Not really. Okay. This painting is so famous. This is Francisco Goya right here. And I don't know at all what this German words say. But this is a scene of some kind of 1746 murdering of these people, obviously, right? There's a line of guys with their guns shooting at the dude. And, oh, here, English. Goya was famous, okay, Spanish painter. He's considered one of the greatest Spanish artists. And he painted all of these scenes of these, of war. He painted scenes of war. Because he's an artist, and that's what they do. They create things. Could you imagine sending Goya to prison? Oh, well, oh, it's a confession. You painted it. Confession. That's ridiculous. Okay, Sweet Lady Sugar, Glanville, YFN Glanville is full of shit. He has PTSD and needs to be traffic court only. Thank you, I love you. If you go back and watch the early parts of the pretrial motions, the lawyers who had very strong bias were removed. I never catch you live. Love watching your replays. Val Pal, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're watching. Thank you so much. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe, everyone. If you don't like the sound quality, I know there's like air conditioning going because it's really hot. I hope to be able to purchase new equipment, and you watching helps me do that. So please keep watching and supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Okay. Doug has 10 siblings and 2 parents to care for. That's a lot in himself. No joke. I cannot believe his mother gave birth to 11 children. Could you imagine? Could you imagine being pregnant 11 times? Ugh. I have 2 beautiful children. That was enough. Thank you. Remember what Tick said on the phone call? Rapper boy? Yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, wait. We're going to talk about that and all the drama that ensued after the jury left yesterday. When you look up the music, Doug tried to collaborate. Doug does collaborate. Doug collaborated with Future, and they had that album cover, which was like a combination of Doug's theme and Future's theme, and the prosecution is trying to say that that was a call to the gangs, like a call for a gang uprising. Have any of you seen the movie The Warriors? There's a scene, warriors, come out and play. Maybe, maybe not. Anyhow, it's about a gang war in New York in the 70s. I don't know why it just reminded me of that. All right, folks, well, it's been almost an hour. I really appreciate you tuning in today. I appreciate you participating in this wonderful chat. This has been a lot of fun. I do have to go do a real job, though. So tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, I started an hour earlier today than usual. So tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, I will see you, and we will talk about all of the phone calls that we watched and all of the stuff that we saw this week, and we'll talk about what we anticipate for next week. So thank you so much for joining. Again, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Granda Gaming. Warriors is a top film, and I feel like it should be watched a bit more. Oh, okay, Sweet Lady Sugar. So, you guys, such good comments. The time frame for submitting evidence is actually before the trial starts, not the morning of. We call that trial by ambush. I'm telling you, Miss Love is absolutely representative of every asshole lawyer I've ever gone against. I can name one. I'm not going to. I'm not going to name drop. But he had a lawyer come into a courtroom he was supposed to be in and say that he was in the hospital, and we called his office, and they said, oh no, he's here in the office. She reminds me of him. So last minute, I guess like the hour before for her, but for normal people, evidence has to be submitted way ahead of time. Like I have a trial on June 3rd, and next week, I'm submitting to the other party 100% of what I'm presenting at that trial. Next week. It's 30 days in advance. Discovery closes, so I should have everything in front of me that's going to be presented at trial. Now, that's civil. I know criminal's a little different. Excuse me, but they're supposed to turn that over before we get the jury seated. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day. Kayla, you have a good day. I will see everyone tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you. Oh, 10 a.m. Central. Hit like and subscribe, guys.